What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners post-game recap. Better late than never. I apologize for the stream being up late. So maybe this will be a good one to grab your coffee, grab your donut, your bagel tomorrow morning and listen to. The Mariners beat the Reds 8-4. You talk about a team that needed a W, and they got it. Some handshakes and hugs tonight. Well needed before another tough series coming up. Mariners win 8-4. I'm going to get into all of it. Before I do, thank you to everybody that's already subscribed. If you are new here, hit that sub button. Helps out the channel a whole lot. Hit the like button on the video. That just helps get the video out to more people. And our second members only live stream taking place tomorrow. So if you're not a channel member, think about joining and then join the live stream tomorrow night. Usually fun. It's a little, smaller crowd, so it's a little more, kind of just relaxed environment. So if you guys are interested in that, think about becoming a channel member. Like I said, you talk about team just needed a W. It wasn't like this team was spiraling out of control. I never hit the panic button. Yesterday's loss was frustrating because it should have been a win. They were 5 outs away from victory and couldn't get it. So you had the fact that they lost a series to the Mets. They lost the first two here. And then that loss last night was also a very winnable game. That's where a lot of the frustration yesterday settled in. It wasn't a hitting the panic button yet or anything like that. And because everything was still right there in front of them. But it did feel like a game, and it felt like a little bit of a funk for this team where they just needed a win. Didn't need to be pretty, didn't need to be great. And this one actually was fairly pretty. It was a nice win. They just needed to find a way to get that W. Now, you get a win here. You salvage a game against Cincinnati. You actually gain a couple games with Toronto and Texas losing on the wild card. I'll get the division as well. Now you get in that flight to Tampa. And I'm telling you, like, if any of you guys have played sports or anything, whether it's work-related, you finish good. That food tastes a little bit better tonight. The sleep is a little bit better. The mood is just a little bit better. That plane ride was probably fairly optimistic. Whereas you get swept there, you just feel really down. I think a little bit of pressure was taken off this team. A lot of work to be done still. A lot of work to be done. But I think a little bit of weight lifted off these guys going into the Tampa series. And then tomorrow, everybody's off. So you got a chance to pick up kind of a free half game if you can find a way to beat Tampa tomorrow. So I talked about the wild card. Oakland beats Toronto, kind of a gift there. Oakland taking one game in that series. You'll settle for that. I know we're kind of rooting for Texas to beat Houston. I said before the series, I didn't think Houston winning that series was the worst thing. You sweep Texas. I'm not saying Texas is eliminated, but the more competition you can push away, the better. I said a few streams ago in regards to division. If you guys remember, not a few streams, post games ago, if you guys remember, I said the AL West is going to go back and forth several times. The Mariners are going to be up by a game or two. Houston's going to end up by a game or two at some point. Texas as well. Now, maybe that might not happen with Texas, but I said it's going to go back and forth between the Mariners and the Astros. Guys, the Astros are a really good baseball team. This was not going to be something the Mariners were going to cruise to a division victory. And I know, well, Jay, if they would have won these series against the Mets or the Reds, then they'd have a bigger lead. Yeah, they would have. It would have benefited the Mariners to win every game so far in this road trip. The Mariners have 23 games left. It would be great if they went 23-0. That would be absolutely fantastic. I would love it. It would secure a division title. It would probably secure the 1 seed. You'd probably end up catching Baltimore. But they're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. These series are going to happen. You're going to have tough ones. You're going to have series where you just don't play as good a baseball as you've been playing. In August, they went 21-6. I know some of the competition wasn't great. You could play that month again, and they wouldn't go 21-6. You could have replayed those same teams in September, Oakland, Chicago, Kansas City, and you might have gone 5-5. Baseball is like that. It does happen sometimes. Cincinnati's a good, young, hungry team. The Mets are out of it, but there's some talent there. I'm not excusing it. The Mariners have not played well the last two series, but it was going to happen. You weren't going to keep up an 800 win pace percentage the rest of the way. And just as I didn't think that August was going to be repeatable, neither is them going 2-4 over 6 games. They're not going to lose whatever that is, 60% of their games the rest of the way either. They're going to play better ball. I know the schedule gets a little tougher. I absolutely do. But baseball is just, it's a little different. Like losing to the Reds and the Mets doesn't mean they won't beat the Dodgers in a series. You know what I mean? It's baseball's funky. Weird things happen. The Oakland A's swept the Atlanta Braves this year, guys. The Atlanta Braves look like they're on cruise control for a World Series. They got swept by the Oakland Athletics. Baseball's weird. Things happen. You can lose a series to the Mets. You can lose a series to the Reds, who are depleted by injury. And then you can go sweep the Astros and sweep the Dodgers. Happens. So while they need to certainly play better than they have these last couple series, everything's right there in front of them. They're a game back of Houston. Cool. That's in perfect position. Stay there until you play them. You have a 3-game series with Houston, the second last series of the year. Be 1 game back going into that series. I'm not saying the Mariners are going to win it. They might not. The Astros are really good. The Astros may win the AL West. I'm not coming on here making out Mariners have it in lockdown. Not at all. Astros are a fantastic team, but at least it'll be there for you. You go in 1 game back, you win the series, you're probably winning that division. You have the tiebreaker over them. Stay within a game, tied, something like that, and you're going to be fine. This team's going to play some better baseball. They're going to get it together, and they're going to play better at some point. So it's just kind of like, again, take a deep breath on all of it. Listen, like I said, I'm not impressed with how they played on this road trip so far. They've not played very good ball. They're 2-4. That's not good enough. But I don't think they're going to play that way the rest of the year. I believe in this team. I think this is a good baseball team, and I expect them to play better. And despite everything, despite how bad the road trip has been, they've been able to grab a couple wins, maybe not the prettiest, and stay within, range of everything that we want here. They were never going to run away with the AL West. It just wasn't going to happen. Houston's too good. Let's get into this one. The Mariners win it, like I said, 8-4. We've been talking about the big picture. Let's get into the game itself. Let's start with the pitching. I thought Logan Gilbert threw the ball really well tonight. I do. I know 5 1/3, 3 earned runs is not amazing by ERA standards necessarily. 7 hits, 2 walks, 9 Ks. I thought Logan was exactly what you needed. I talked about it, that you kind of just need that. Who's going to be that pitcher that steps up? When you're struggling, you're always as good as your next day starting pitcher. And they needed someone to be an ace and kind of just put an end to this, craziness that's been going on with some of these losses. And Logan did that today. Logan was sharp. The Reds got him for 3 runs. The Reds have been so pesky this series. I'm not going to get on the 3 runs at all. He had a big enough lead. He was fine. And struck out 9. That was impressive. In the first 2 games of this series, yawning. The Mariners have struck out 4 Reds hitters. Brian Wu had 2 walks or 3 walks and 2 hit by pitches with no strikeouts. I talked about Bryce Miller yesterday. I give him credit for battling through it. Bryce Miller gave the team a chance to win, but he was not very sharp yesterday, and the bullpen struggled. And then today, Logan Gilbert, 9 strikeouts, and the bullpen 4. Much, much better today, getting to see some swing and misses, which is good. That's what you want to see. Matt Brash came in, did a nice job. I thought that was the right decision to go to Matt Brash there. That's when you use Matt Brash. He's got elite level stuff. It's hard. He's hard to barrel up. And yeah, he gave up the hit to Marte, but he gets out of a bases loaded jam. That's where Matt Brash is good. When you can get strikeouts, don't give up a lot of hard contact, you can get out of those spots. Gabe Spire pitches a shutout 7th, Topa a shutout 8th, and Munoz finishes off in the 9th. Did have to throw 22 pitches, gave up a home run and a walk, 2 strikeouts, which that's good to see. I know some people didn't like that maybe Scott went to Spire, Topa, and Munoz in this game. I will say this. One, they needed a W. Like I said, they needed it. Don't mess around here. Get the win. I know you don't have a lot of days off. You're going to Tampa now, but you've got Kirby and Castillo, or Castillo and Kirby going the first 2 games. So you should get some length out of your starting pitching. You needed to get this one. I get it. Analytically, it's probably not the best decision. This might have been a game. Maybe Spire's fine in the 7th, but maybe Topa and Munoz 8, 9. You should have gone to Campbell and Thornton. But one, like I said, they just needed this win. And with how yesterday went, just lock it down. Second of all, I think it's good to get Topa back out there after yesterday. Yesterday was a tough outing for him. Gets him back in today. Gets a double play. And I forgot what the third out was, but gets a nice clean inning. And Topa only threw, what? How many pitches did Topa throw? Where is it? 8 pitches. So it would be 3 straight days, but he could be available tomorrow. Get him back out in the horse. Shut him down. Munoz didn't quite lock it down as much. But again, Munoz has been having a little struggle recently. Again, I'm not worried so much about Topa and Munoz that much, but get him back out there. Get him back out there feeling good. It secures the win. and hopefully gives them a little confidence as well. That's not the worst thing in the world in a big run when you have a big lead, to let guys that might be having a little confidence issue get a bit of a boost by pitching in this game. So I didn't have a problem with it. I might have gone to Campbell in the ninth and saved Munoz, but I get it. I get with how this series is going to him. Let's get into the offense, and really nice to see this team have a big game with Julio going 0 for 5. I know that sounds crazy. I don't want Julio going 0 for 5, but it was great to see him not be carried by Julio for a game. J.P. Crawford 1 for 5 with a 3-run home run. I can't say enough about J.P. Crawford. I really can't. It's just been amazing. Just been absolutely amazing. I know the metrics don't like JP's defense this year at all. If you look at Baseball Savant, he's in like one of the lowest percentiles. The eye test tells me he's a little better than that, but I get it. I do think he's been a little slower defensively. I think he's got very good. He's very quick. Like, he's smooth. He does make it look smooth. I think the arm strength isn't the best. But this offensive production you're getting from JP, my gosh, whatever JP is comfortable with, play him there. And I don't think he's been bad enough defensively that you're like, ooh, I don't know. That's just how I view it. Julio 0 for 5, going to happen. Cal Raleigh 3 for 4, on base 4 times, a home run and a walk. Great to see from the dumper. OPS up to 788, F4 up to 4 on the year. Cal Raleigh, I don't want to say quietly, but quietly is having an amazing, amazing season and quickly becoming the best catcher this organization has ever had. And just like one of the more fun guys, in my opinion, to root for is the big dumper. Great game for him. Teo 2 for 4 with the walk. So Teo on base 3 more times. His OPS is creeping up to 800 at 780. Extends his hitting streak to 15 games. Canzone 0 for 5. Gino 2 for 4 with a double and a single. Good to see. Gino needed to get some vibes going. He has been scuffling. I kind of ripped him yesterday for that 3-0 pitch, which I still stand by. Good to see. And Ty France, 2 for 3, 2 RBIs, 2 walks. Ty and Gino on base a combined 6 times. Really, really good to see. They really need Gino and Ty to step up here in this final month. They don't have to carry the team, but they've got to be better. They've just got to be a little bit better. I'm not asking for MVP performances. We talked about it with Teo, right? Teo and Cal a little bit maybe too. And they have. The next two are Gino and Ty. Gino's been kind of carried by, Gino's defense has been tremendous, and he's had some clutch hits. So even when he's been scuffling, he's gotten some big RBIs, but you need more. You need more. You can't just have a couple base hits a week with runners and score. That's great. We'll take it. You need those, but we need a little bit more. So good to see from Gino today. The F350, Mike Ford, 1 for 4, 2-run home run. Mike Ford is really, had that July where he was just in fuego, cooled down to the point where there was some DFA talks. And I think I even mentioned it a couple times as well. And then listen, part of the problem with Ford is just doesn't play a defensive position, can't hit lefties. So I get some of the negativity, but man, he has turned it back around. Mike Ford has been a nice player for this team this year. And whether you're DHing him if you get to the playoffs or he can come in off the bench as a pinch hitter, he's a nice weapon to have. And then when you get Kellenic back too, it just, I know there's going to be some position crunching that has to go on, but that's a good problem to have. Josh Rojas 0 for 1 with a walk. Dylan Moore pinched hit and was 0 for 2. Offense totals 11 hits and 5 walks, so 16 base runners. As much as I've talked about how the Reds were kind of annoying this series with just constantly battling, my gosh, the Mariners were the same way. If that Nick Martini homer yesterday is like 2 feet shorter and Teo catches it, the Reds are the ones probably going, how annoying is this Mariners team this week? So the offense really still playing well. Honestly, even Monday, they scored 3 runs. They had some chances to tie that game up. I think the offense is really, even in this road trip, has been solid so far. Friday night, they ran into Senga. It happens. Senga's really good. He got him. Saturday, they scored 8 runs. Sunday, they scored 3. Sunday was probably their worst game because it was all 3 runs in that 1 inning, and they didn't have a lot of base runners. But still, it wasn't a terrible offensive day. I thought Monday, it wasn't great, but 3 runs they battled. They scored 6 yesterday and 8 today. Offense is still really, really clicking. Very solid start from Logan. Absolutely needed that. when, like I said, when you're going through this, you need an ace to step up. And Logan is that. I think the Mariners have 3 aces on this staff. Truthfully, Logan's probably been the best over the last few weeks of this pitching staff. So really good to see. Like I said, now you can take a little bit of a deep breath. Toronto and Texas lose. So actually, despite the series not being great, you gained a game on Texas. You lost 1 on Toronto. Okay. And then you did lose 2 on Houston. But you have the tiebreaker over Houston. You're 1 back. It's still all right there for you. Going to be an interesting weekend because Texas plays Oakland and Toronto plays Kansas City. And you're in Tampa, a really good team. Tomorrow seems like a good one to get a free half game in there. I know that's not how that really works, but it would feel good to have. And then if Kansas City can win 1 and Oakland can win 1, I think you still feel pretty good if you can get out of Tampa with even a split. I think with how this road trip's gone, if you could do that, you'd feel pretty good going back home. And then I think Toronto and Texas play each other for 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. So you almost hope, I know you'd say beat up on each other, but I almost feel like just one sweep the other and kind of brush them away maybe a little bit too. Depends on how you look at it. So the most important thing, as I always say, you know who needs to win games? The Seattle Mariners. That's the only team they can control, and that's what they need to be worried about the most. And I get caught up in it too. Am I impressed with this series? No, it was disappointing. They lost 2 out of 3. So is the Mets series. But today was a win. And when we do daily recaps, if I did a series recap, this would probably have a little more negative tone. But it's a daily recap. We already lamented the last 2 games. They're done. The Mariners won today. They came into today 77-61. They leave it 78-61. That's a good thing. You get maybe a little momentum going to Tampa, and you have your best 2 pitchers going. Hopefully they can get a W tomorrow and get the good vibes back with another win. Thank you all for joining. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and I will see you all tomorrow. Remember, think about becoming a member for the members-only stream, and I will have my post-game video up tomorrow as well. Along with my NFL Week 1 picks are going to be up tomorrow, so be ready for those as well. And I'm going to try on Friday to do a Seahawks preview for the Rams game, which looks really cool because a lot of Seahawks come back healthy, and Cooper Kupp's going to be out for the Rams, so hopefully that'll help the Seahawks in that game. So take care, everybody. Have a great night. I will see you all tomorrow. As always, go Mariners. Peace.